Hey there, Dr. Allison J.K. here, wanting to talk about some of the less well-known money blocks that I've seen throughout this last 12 years of working so intensively on money blocks. So, one of them is the idea of security. And it's like everybody has a certain amount, right, that you feel secure. If I have this much in the bank, then I can have that feeling of security. And this is the bottom line for all of it, is that our reality is getting created from our beliefs. And at least 85%, I think it's more like 95% of our reality is actually getting created from what I call the back of the house consciousness, the thoughts you don't hear. So you could be having an unconscious conclusion that this is the amount I need in the bank for me to feel secure. And then once you have that amount, you could find yourself wanting to just do what the ego mind prefers, which is staying in the status quo, in the comfort zone, and going into robot mode. So the stats are 85% of our daily choices are made from what I say the thoughts are we don't even hear, or from our subconscious and unconscious mind. I have seen it's more like 95%. So that means that we're living in a robotic mode, and that is the preference and the wiring for the ego mind, because it goes based on the known, and it prefers the status quo because its job is to protect us from the unknown. So understand that with money, as well as with everything, there is this comfort zone that the ego mind wants to get to. And so there is this false sense of stopping for many people I've seen, where once they have that amount, then they just coast. And it's okay if you don't want to have a higher standard of living, or you don't want to have more success, or you don't want to have more money. But please understand that the ego mind is up to a game where it wants to help you get to this secure point, and it's going to equate very much of the time a certain amount of money in order to feel secure. So I just said two different things here. Your mind is going to prefer a sense of security, and once you're there, you're going to hit like kind of a plateau, as well as your mind is projecting onto money that once I have this certain amount, I'll feel secure. When in fact, that sense of being secure in your body, on planet Earth, in your home, doesn't come from the amount of money you have. As much as is realities we can go down a list of, but it comes from you, inside. So if you think about it, have you ever let yourself become homeless? I didn't say have you ever become homeless. And again, there's a whole host of socioeconomic reasons, political reasons, imbalance, unfairness, all sorts of stuff we could point to. I can say that as a woman who has seen she's had to prove herself more than a male counterpart to have success as a spiritual teacher. So another way that I see is a block that is less talked about out there around money is the idea of, it's a little bit based on what I just said, the if-then statement. If I do X, then I'll have more money. So is it if I get that raise, or if I get that switch to that industry, or if I open my own business, or if I invest in this? And I'm not saying your analysis of the markets or your financial advisor's analysis of the markets is incorrect. What I'm pointing to again is having a sense of detachment, which there are tools. Like one of my major parts of my background, that is half of the vibration upgrade system I developed, is my yoga meditation teacher background, trained in India, and I've been doing it for decades. And so there are tools to increase that detachment. The other half of what makes up vibration upgrade system and is my what I've invested in is learning 5 different modalities of energy medicine and doing them for decades, and coming up with the combination of energy medicine and applied mindfulness for the vibration upgrade system. So there are tools that make this all easier. So please understand, I'm not sitting here lecturing. I'm helping to raise your awareness that there are ways for you to have more freedom, and it's not from money. Now, having more money does equate to more freedom, but you have to do the work internally to have the external change. It's not once the external changes, then you'll feel X. So, applying this to the example of, if this happens, fill in the blank, then I'll have more money. So what you're doing is giving away your power and having a lockdown of energy for you to have more money basically only occur when that thing occurs that you filled in the blank with. Instead, do the internal clearing work in the shifts and have more freed up consciousness that's been locked down in the back of the house consciousness, which is what I call the subconscious and unconscious, whose thoughts we don't hear. So now you have more fresh, vital life force with which to make more mindful choices, so you can apply this mindfulness to say, wait a minute, I feel good now, I feel secure now, I'd like more money. What are the ways I could have more money coming in? And from that more, you can feel the difference, yeah? From that more empowered position, you're also more likely to have that thing you filled in the blank with occur, right? Nobody likes anybody needy. You know how you run when somebody, in your dating days, when somebody gets clutchy or clingy? Ah! Right? Well, if you're in a hiring position, it's the same kind of thing. And if you're money, you can smell what is neediness, and that clutching tends to push whatever you're clutching further out of your reach. So what that does, as annoying as that is, that we have to then work within ourselves, it forces us to do that work, which is what we're here to do as a soul or a spirit in a human body on planet Earth at this time, is to evolve, to grow, like a plant. So another common money block that I see is people, I'm just listening to what wants to come forward next. Okay, let's do the minimalist one, or the conservationist one, or the one if you're spiritual, or if you're concerned about the environment, then you'll just have this certain amount. And whilst that may be true, I want you to look at, if you have that idea from the perspective of there's only so much to go around. Because that's a lie that's been sold to humanity, so those who have had the most can keep the most and the rest scramble. Another way to say that is, when we first started trading, it was beads, rocks, shells. And then it became metals. Notice all of this is from the earth. And then it became paper currency. Notice that that's also from the earth. There is and they can print money at any time, right? And the gig with inflation is what it is right now. I just got some great news from my financial advisor. So it's a facade about there only being so much to go around, and if I allow myself to have more than enough, that's taking from somebody else. Because we live, the nature of our planet and of our universe is abundance and multiplication. It's a human control mechanism to clamp down and say, no, there's not enough. It's a control mechanism in economics as well. But the underlying reality is that if you live in Florida or a tropical climate, for example, the stuff just always grows. It is an abundant earth and it is an abundant universe. And I have been sensing and knowing and committed to since around 2011, I started to sense this new era is going to be about abundance for all. As so much more, the truths come to the surface and so much of what's been out of alignment aligns. So I feel like in a way I have to convince your mind of this, because there's so much conditioning of there's not enough. Now let me say this too about the earth and minimalism. I know that the more people who are minimalists and environmentalists, we've seen more donations to environmental organizations. We've seen more creations of new technologies. We've seen that are not fossil fuel based, and that will help conserve our resources that this beautiful planet yields to us to live. I feel like it's a rationalization, and this is why I was saying there just a moment ago about I can feel the objections from your mind, because this is an area, money, where you can time is like this too. You can point to your account, or you can point to your calendar, and you can say, this is a hard fact. This is how much I have, this is how much I have in time. And then all the rationalization around how to run an economy is presented to you. And then you're like, yeah, inflation. And then you're reacting with everybody else as the market goes down, and you may have some loss. When if you pull back, we're creating it all. So we have new technologies to help with the fossil fuels not being needed. We have more people buying up tracts of land to conserve trees. We have more trees being planted. So it's us that are creating that lack, that restriction, that not enough. And it's us that are changing it. So I feel like a fundamental law of the universe is that it is an abundant universe. What clogs that up is greed. So another aspect that I see, another block that's common, is that when I don't want to have that much more money. Hold on, let me back up. So I feel like as real as it seems and as solid as it seems, like you can point to, that these are the reasons why the economy is in inflation now, and these are the reasons why we have to limit the circulation of currency, and I get those mechanisms. I still think that a lot of people, and I think this now because I've observed a lot of people use as an excuse not to allow themselves to have more ease with money. And in fact, one of the main ways people choose to punish themselves is through a limitation of money. And so you really want to use more of that observer capacity with more detachment from the thoughts that you can hear, asking, is that an excuse? Or is that even true? Maybe in the reverse order. So another one that is interesting is like, I'll have more responsibility the more money I have. You can hire it out the more money you have to the professionals who, that's their zone, whether it's a financial advisor, an accountant, a bookkeeper. And so you actually do have more freedom the more money you have. So that's another lie. That's just an excuse. So the bottom line here is, again, look at where you have these conclusions, or go even further back, the mountaintop perspective. Observe your behaviors, observe your choices, and then ask, what lie could I be telling myself here? So all of this and more, we're getting up to so much more, because I'm going to be running clearings and activations and doing readings on you and what are your unconscious and subconscious blocks, because it's a lot easier when you have somebody help you, because that's your shadow zone. That's hidden from you. And I get these hawk eyes here, or I have these hawk eyes here. So I'll be applying them to intuitive reads with you around money and your beliefs, and you around your business if you have one in your beliefs, and running the relevant clearings to help free you up to make choices that would yield more ease for you around money on a brand new offering. It's a 3-part Zoom series starting this Wednesday, August 17th. And I've never offered this before. It's a lot of the work that I've had in my signature program for years now, Magic, Manifestation, and Money Flow, that yields fantastic results where people get ultimately, finally freer, and they actually start to see the results that they have taken all these other programs for and done all this work around LOA for, but they actually start to have the results. And so if you are seeing this before Sunday at midnight New York time zone, Sunday the 14th, that just as the Lionsgate portal closes, the early bird price ends Sunday night, New York time at midnight. And then you can still get in before and on Wednesday the 17th of August. That's the first Zoom event. They're all recorded, so it's okay if you miss one. But you're going to want to show up live so you can sit in the hot seat and ask your questions, and I can do the intuitive reads on your business and what blocks that you're not aware of and then clear them to help you just free it all up. Like I just had a woman in Magic Manifestation and Money Flow, her first 2 weeks, get 6 new clients. And she hadn't had any new clients for months. It's a total common occurrence here. So really the bottom line is, what excuses are you living from that cause you to complain that we could just clear out? And you could have more of what you want with more ease and free up more life force and more joy that helps then your life and your heart sing and your health roar, but also the collective, as each of us gets more free and has more light circulating in our system and more freedom around money. It frees it up for the collective because we are that much more connected nowadays. Okay, links below. Sign up. I'd love to have you come play. I'm so excited to get this workout to more people and make it more accessible. Now is the time. Blessings.